Hey everyone, we're glad to see you here tonight. We have an event coming up on Sunday called The Well, and what it is 9 different practitioners who are going to share the wealth. And we all come from different modalities, using different modalities as far as our spiritual work, emotional, mental, and spiritual work. And so I'm Heidi Ferguson, and this is Vanessa Ramsey, and we're going to talk a little bit about what we are bringing to the well on Sunday. And yeah, I'm not sure I need to say anything more than that, except what I said, right?
Perfect.
Good.
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you.
Yeah. So do you want me to go first?
Go for it.
Okay.
Yeah.
So like I said, everyone, I'm Heidi Ferguson, and I'm a psychic and a medium, and I also do spiritual guidance with my clients. On Sunday, though, I'm going to be doing psychic readings for anyone who wants to come on. So bring your questions with you, and we can really get into it. And it will be all the sessions will be recorded, so you don't need to take notes. I just want you to really be in the moment and to take in the information. And typically in a reading, what I invite people to do is to see it as a dialogue as we are going along and information's coming through for you, that you give me feedback whether or not it resonates, because if it doesn't resonate, we can throw it out the window and we can take another avenue. And if it doesn't resonate, then it doesn't mean anything. So that is really helpful for me as a psychic to give you the information that's going to be most worthwhile for you. So sometimes I also have I have several decks of cards that I use, and I will be pulling from my one deck that I use most of the time. And it depends on the moment. I'm really very intuitive. I'm very much in the moment. And so sometimes I pull a card, sometimes I don't pull a card. It just, whatever I'm feeling into is what is right in the moment. Yeah, I think that's kind of all that I, need to share about that right now. Do you have any questions? Do you know what that is, Podesta?
In terms of?
Yeah, what I do. Like, do you have any questions about what I do, or if you're curious about anything?
Yeah, absolutely. I am curious about a couple things, actually.
Okay.
One being sort of when you realized that you were intuitive, or if it was an always thing, or like a whoa, I have this gift kind of thing.
It's kind of a little bit of everything, really. I think on some level, I kind of always knew that I had something. Like, I don't know that I could really identify what it was, but I had something. And I've always had a very strong belief system and faith in the unknown, and okay to just sort of believe in humanity. Mm-hmm. And a real true faith in a higher power. Like, that has always been with me, part of my life. And with that, I've always known and believed that I'm going to be okay no matter what. And I don't even know what okay looks like the majority of the time. I just know that I'm going to be okay. And then about, I don't know, 10 or more years ago, I had a reading, and at the end of the reading, this woman says to me, she said, so if you want to be part of our community, we would love to have you, because I know you have the gift. And I was like, what? How do you know this? Right? And I'd heard this before, but I kind of like put it off to the side. Like, I know you have the gift. And I just was like, I don't know that I want to hear that right now. And then there was something about this woman that I really resonated with, and I just loved her energy. And so at the time, she had this school, and she had this course on really honing your psychic gifts. And I ended up taking it. And that's kind of what put me on the map as far as creating this business that I have.
Wow. That's awesome. I'm hearing like, and I've heard it before, like a little bit of the reluctant hero journey. So like, and then being compelled anyway.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. And for especially what you're offering on Sunday, which I know is coming into a Zoom room, the group of people, and offering, readings. I'm curious, what is like a ritual or a way that you sort of pre-game to be in that space for your clients?
Yeah. So one of the things that I do is I will for sure meditate beforehand for myself to get myself into a certain space. And then depending on the time that we have, because I don't know how many people are signed up for my session, but depending on the amount of time that we have, I will do a short meditation just to get everyone connected and grounded. Yes, exactly. Connected and grounded so that we are in, and I realize that everyone's different and not everyone is kind of, grounds in the same way or feels the same way, but collectively, because there's something really powerful in the collective and the synchronicities that we can really kind of hone that and bring that in so that we're all kind of on the same level.
So there's both your inner alignment and your pre-game to show up the way that you want to show up. And then there's also essentially like serving the container by bringing everyone to at least like a level place, anchored, grounded place.
Yeah.
And then I guess, what does it feel like, if there's a way to describe where you go or what you maybe more accurately connect to during readings?
What does it feel like? Well, it feels very, like I feel it very intently in my, I'm pointing to kind of my heart space here. Mm-hmm. So I really feel it here. And when I get a message, like how can I say this? I get a message which comes through as like a thought. And it literally takes a nanosecond to check in with my heart to know that, okay, this is really the right information that is meant for such and such a person. And then I speak it. Is that what you're asking?
Yeah. And I think also too, it's like, I always feel curious with people I consider clairvoyant or clairaudient or clairsentient, like is it a thought? Is it a smell? Is it a voice? Is it, oh, I kind of go off into the ethers, or I kind of connect to some sort of portal? Yeah. Sort of if there were words for it, it sounds like for you, it literally comes in as information that you can filter through your heart.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Pretty quickly, or pretty masterfully.
Pretty quickly. And I will say, because I've been doing this for as long as I've been doing, it's a muscle that gets exercised.
Yeah.
And
that was my next question.
Right. And with that exercise, it's just like anything. The more and more we exercise it, the more it becomes, I don't want to use the word rote, but it's sort of rote, that the muscle just and it just works and it works and it works. And I know that when I go for periods of time where I haven't connected, it's a little rusty, and I'm like, okay, it might take a little bit longer, but then when I'm in the groove, it's literally automatic.
Yeah, I love that. I think what I'm hearing too, which may, for people who are interested in learning, is that maybe at first it's going to be a little clunky. You're trying to figure it out. And then there's that confidence loop of like, you've built that muscle and the foundation. So even for you, if you step away for a while, you come back, there's still a pretty solid foundation you can drop into.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Yeah. And then the last thing that I will talk about is the hardest, I would say the most challenging thing that I had to learn is to 100% trust. Trust that voice, trust the message, trust the connection. And one of the lines that I say, and I say it to many of my clients, I'm like, spirit doesn't lie. Spirit never lies, because spirit doesn't have a reason to lie.
Ooh,
And
yeah.
so, I mean, isn't that powerful? Right. And it's really true. Spirit doesn't lie. And when I have to, sometimes I have to say that to myself over and over and over. And I'm like, and then there are days when I'm like, no, I'm good. I really get that. This is all truth.
Yeah. Oh, that's remarkable. I'm excited to, that you're gifting this to people on Sunday.
Yeah, thanks. Yeah, me too. I'm excited about it.
So cool that we're doing this.
I know. So let's flip the table. Okay. And yes, and please tell us what you're going to be doing on Sunday.
Yeah. So hey everyone, my name is Fidishta Ramsey, and I'm going to be teaching skills to help you become a relational badass. That includes how to tend to your nervous system during conflict, how to communicate from a place that almost seems counterintuitive in a conflict with someone, a place that's far more vulnerable, and also how to really attune in the moment with someone else. It's an amazing thing when you can start to hold your own emotions and also be available to see someone else's. That double vision is where it's at. So that's a nutshell of what I'm hoping to offer.
Wow. Okay. So what is this called?
Well, we have it as doing conflict well.
Okay.
You mean the program? Yeah.
Yeah. And what is it? So what does it mean to do conflict well? Because when I hear the word conflict, I want to run away.
Yeah, that makes sense. That's most people. Most people really want to avoid conflict, really stay in the harmony, which of course makes sense as human animals. We really want to be near the pleasure, away from the pain. And what I've learned about conflict is it is a path for creating more trust and intimacy with someone when you can get through it.
Whew. Wow. Okay. I mean, I'm going to trust that, right? Yeah.
Now that requires two willing people, right?
Yeah.
There's also that, just to preface.
Yeah. And how did you get connected to this work, or how did you, like, what is your interest in it? Because it's, to me, it just seems unusual.
Yeah. Well, I think, gosh, I mean, if I go really deep, being born in a war zone, just watching fighting from the first things I can remember to really not seeing it modeled in any relationships I grew up around. As a child, like a healthy model for handling conflict and having healthy repair just wasn't there. And it was something I yearned for. I yearned for like honest, vulnerable communication and cleanup. And it just wasn't a muscle that I saw anyone flexing. And I think for me, the pivotal moment was watching a relationship I really treasured crash and burn. And it not being the first, right? And being like, fuck, like there's something I'm doing here. There's something I don't know. There's something we don't know how to do. And it's creating, the cost is like unbearable loss.
Yeah.
So, on the upside of that, learning the skills with that same partner and being able to see the fruits of doing that well, it makes me want to share it with others. Like there's a different way than the crash and burn, or what I sometimes feel is worse is like the quiet Cold War and the resentment in a couple that does stay together.
Yeah.
And it's like option C. There's got to be an option C.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. Yeah. Oh, I'm so thrilled to hear that this exists,
Mm-hmm.
So you talked a little bit about skills. So I'm curious to hear from you, like as far as skills are concerned, what would you say is the most significant tool or skill that you know of or that you could pass along to someone for conflict resolution?
Mm-hmm.
Like just a nugget, right?
Yeah. I think the one that really stands out for me, there's many that are important, but it's the first one is self-regulation. Learning how to be with and regulate intense emotions within yourself in a way that they are not, I don't know, kind of coming out sideways, right? Being willing to look at like, man, what are my triggers and what are my resources? And how can I remain resourced, even with nostrils flaring, even with righteousness? Like, how can I still hold a place of, I see myself doing this and I want to do better. So, yeah, self regulating in the midst, breathing, taking a time out, whatever that looks like. Everyone's different. But that's a big one.
Yeah.
We don't learn how to do that. And then, that's two people that are like volcanoes.
Yeah. Wow. Oh gosh, I'm excited. I'm really excited for your session. Yeah.
I'm excited for anyone who's showing up on a Sunday to learn about conflict, frankly. Like that's my peeps.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think besides our sessions, I'm excited for the other 7 people and what everyone has to offer. I mean, this is a really kick-ass bunch of practitioners who, again, like I said earlier, we work differently, we have different modalities, and it's an honor to be in this group. I mean, when I was asked, I was so touched. I was like, wow, they want me, Yeah. For me, it's a big deal. So I'm really excited.
Me too.
So I'm just gonna, kind of reiterate Sunday from 2 to 5:30. It's called The Well. We've have a ton of posts on Facebook. Go to thewell.com. There's a website. It's easy to sign up. And the money for this, it's donation by donation only. And the monies are going to Together Rising, which is an incredible organization, nonprofit organization, that all the money goes to people who are in need. And you can read about that if you decide to go on their website. So I think did we cover everything?
It feels good to me. Yeah.
Good.
You're doing this, and I'm so psyched just knowing the spectrum of giftings and offerings. I want to go to every single one of these. I mean, I saw exercises for trauma relief, right, or vitality, like resetting that, or gratitude practices. Like, there's so many cool ways to I don't know, create a soft place to land for yourself in the new year. So hoping you all take advantage of the care and the community that's going to be available. Yeah. Thank you.
Hope to see you all Sunday.